What is going on, my friends? My name is Parker Andriese, DJ of 10 years and host of Behind the Energy podcast. I've been able to meet some pretty awesome people along the way, and we're bringing them on here to go behind the energy, sharing their stories, lessons learned, and shine light on some of their major milestones. If you're into DJing, the event industry, or entrepreneurship, I think you'll dig the show. I really appreciate you being here with me. Now that we've set the table, it's time to jump right in and get started with today's episode. Handy dandy clap. Oh my goodness, and let's get a little comfortable too. Ladies and gentlemen, party people, this is episode 53 of Behind the Energy podcast. We're running on fumes, caffeine, and a dream. And I'm sitting in the studio, in my boy Nick Nord's studio, on the famous comfy couch with my boy Jordan Nelson.
What's up, what's up?
What the heck is up, Jordan?
Dude, what a whirlwind the past couple weeks have been.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. How long you been in Utah?
3 weeks.
Back in Utah?
Almost 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I'm coming through here right quick. Listeners, thank you for joining us. Viewers, Jordan is a fellow YouTuber, so shout out everyone watching on YouTube.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh gosh, dude, where to begin? Jordan, my dog. We've got a number of things to talk about. Jordan, a little context, is a husband, a father, an entrepreneur, an author, a doctor.
Almost.
Almost a doctor.
Not a dentist, bangerang. Yeah.
Not a dentist. Providing context why you're here in Utah.
I'm out here doing rotation. Month-long rotation at a hospital here. So, yeah, man.
12-hour days.
Yeah, I did 72 hours this week. So it was a week.
There's no reason why I should be complaining right now.
Yeah. Wow, and then I stayed out till 1 playing poker last night, so good times.
Did you bring your chips with you?
No, I used buds.
Yeah.
Buds, yeah.
Buds.
A bud, like a friend.
A buddy.
Like a homie,
okay.
Yeah, a buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so if that doesn't give you just a very high-level overview of all that we're going to talk about, buckle up because we've got a lot of exciting things to chat about here. Jordan, my friend, I think it's an appropriate place to start the conversation just because we overlap on it so much is DJing and your DJing story. I'd love to turn the time over to you for 10 or so minutes to talk about the inspiration, the early days, were there artists, were there concerts, were there shows? What did you initially love about the world of live events and DJing? And then walk the listeners through your story growing your DJing career and business.
Happy to. So
that was a lot, but you got it.
No, we talked a little before we went live about how I haven't prepped for this apart from that question because every time I tell this story, it gets longer. It's really hard 10 years of your life to sum up the most important interactions you've had over that time. Something, completely life-changing. But the DJ story starts long before I actually got behind decks. So always been a music lover. Got the music bug from my mom, I think my mom's the only one out there still going to Pitbull and Post Malone concerts on the reg. Yeah. She's out doing it right now. So so she obviously music around the house always, got no sports ability at all, but definitely got a little bit of the music talent. So started playing piano at 8, drums through middle school.
That's right.
Dabbled in the guitar, the ukulele, just since I've been here, I picked up an Irish tin whistle. It's a great time. So just one of the many holes I've fallen down hobby wise. But
what is an Irish tin whistle?
We'll get to that. Yeah, that's
okay.
Dude. So it's another thing. So
stay focused.
Yeah. So I know it's gonna be hard. So always around music. So DJing naturally, I think would be something that would come as a good fit when I was exposed to it. I grew up in St. George, not the cutting edge of live event space, right? So DJing was radio guys at a pop-up around town. Never really was exposed to, nowadays friggin' a Barnes and Noble opens and they got DJ Bookworm in the lobby. But back then
DJ Bookworm.
Yeah, but now that was a thing, but there wasn't DJs everywhere, in 2010, when we kind of came up. So my first exposure, church dance of all place, usually it's old man with an iPod, but I was at a college, a summer thing. And there was actually a legit college guy. He had decks. He was spinning. I was captivated. I walked over. Yeah, CDJs or something,
Sick, okay.
And I went over and I was like, oh, can I stand over your shoulder and watch? He was a homie. I don't know who this guy is. out there.
To this day,
some college guy that totally changed my life. But he was like, bro, like try it. Like you can, like I'll show you some things. And I was hooked. I went home, like broke open my metaphorical piggy bank, and got all my lawnmower money, and like bought the Gemini CDM 3600. It was like this dual, like chunky rack mount CD mixer.
CD mixer.
CD mixer. Yeah. So I think computers were like laptop DJing. This was 2010. Was like just becoming like mainstream. But I was a poor student. I didn't have money for a laptop and a controller or whatever. So
sorry, 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
You were
like 2009 actually when I started. So that was ninth grade. Yeah.
14, 15,
15 probably.
15?
Yeah,
Okay,
15.
15.
Yeah, ninth grade. So
got
the Gemini, burned all my iTunes to discs, and like for a year was like bedroom DJ. So and it was great, man, because I couldn't rely on a screen. I totally had to go by ear. It had terrible instant start, so like I had to like really be on my game to beat match. And
could you see the tempo? Like did it read the track? I
legitimately
and show the BPM?
had to tap out my tempos and write them in a book. Like no joke. I had like a binder, my guy, of CDs and music. Yeah.
Real quick, I'm already loving where this is going.
Yeah.
Can you just give a high level overview of like how like from vinyl to like CDs to like where DJing's at now with laptops, like how that's changed and progressed like in terms of mixing? So like you were counting the beats per minute and writing it out, like so just like giving context for someone who's maybe not a DJ.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So nowadays your Serato, you load a track in, it tells you 98 beats per minute. But before I could Google, I could Google how many beats per minute. But even then, like I don't know, I didn't Google much stuff at that point. So I would just there's like websites you can like tap BPM, and so I would just like pull up a track, and you just have to tap like 8 beats, and then it would say this is 106. Wow. And you start to get a feel for it. But I would just like keep a little binder, the track name and artist, and then the BPM. And it was really good. So that taught me, I think that really gave me a leg up, and having drumming experience on how to beat match and how to like understand phrasing, which I think is a lot of DJs can beat match, but phrasing is hard. Like getting a verse to start at the same point as another verse, or the vocals to start of one track at the exact time the track before ends the vocals. Like a lot of DJs can mix, but they kind of jumble.
Yep.
So I think that gave me a leg up.
Wow.
So bedroom DJ for a year doing that. And then eventually, similar to, I'm sure many of your guests, ventured out into like the friends' basements, the garages, the 20 people, the 30 people birthday party.
What was your intentions when you got into it? Because there was a year being a bedroom DJ. Yeah. When you got the Gemini,
not to
what
gig
did you
out.
want to
do? It was just for the love of it. I thought mashups were dope. I thought like, I don't know, just mixing tracks was cool. Okay. And so it was just a kind of a natural expansion of instrumentation, right?
Okay.
And so, but then as I fell into like the world, like I'm a huge YouTube addict. So like watched tons of gig logs from DJs back then, which were like super primitive. Like the gig logs in 2010.
Dude, if you released a gig log, you'd get a lot of views.
Yeah, there was like 2 people doing it. It was like Brian S. Red and like, I don't know, a couple other random guys doing gig logs. And so I watched those, and then, ventured into friends' basements, and that eventually became like informal school dances, the stomps, the like stuff in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And then with time that became like the formal school dances. So that was really kind of my high school forte, right?
So you were doing school dances in high school?
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Mostly like as like a junior. That's kind of where I got to that point.
And
I really have to like, okay, so I can mark my, they did. But I, had to prove myself. But I kind of can mark my journey by the mentors I've had, and at that point it was DJ Lex Diaz Vito. So I met him through Facebook Marketplace buying some lights, and he's the guy in Southern Utah. Like he does every mobile DJ event in Southern Utah.
That's sweet.
And he basically was like, you want to haul my gear for free? I'll teach you everything I know. I was like, I'll haul your gear. Like what? Like
as a high school student,
yeah, I was like, I'm willing.
Yeah,
I'll set up your stuff. And so he taught me so much about track selection, taught me all stuff about lighting, gear, setup, audio. So it kind of took me from just someone focused on mixing to the business aspect, And then, so kind of just throughout high school, I was able to quit my job changing oil at Grease Monkey and start just DJing. I made enough to support myself in high school, buy my lunches and crap like that.
Yeah.
And then even did a couple weddings. I specifically remember like a cheerleader was like, can you do my sister's wedding? Like, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but she's like, oh, she does it. She just needs music. So I wrote a contract. It was like I blank agree to pay Jordan, aka DJ Phayze, $50 or something like that. And I'm like, that was the contract, bro. And I had like my like logo. I don't know if I stole from the internet, but it was just like a font with like Phayze, you know.
Dude, all the DJs that are listening, they know they've all been there. Yeah.
So I show up to this wedding. I like luckily when I do something I don't know, I go so over the top with preparation. So like loaded up my Kenny G for like cocktail hour and like I like had all my stuff. I hope they're still married today, man. Like I don't know about that performance, but I came and like I DJ'd on my CD player with a electronic drum set monitor as the speaker. Like that was my PA system. So like it was like a wedge kind of like sitting over in the studio there.
The single
It's my sound system. I mean, it wasn't a huge wedding, but it was definitely like less than they deserved. But they knew what they were getting into. I was a junior, so
you were transparent, but you still prepared.
Yeah. And at that time, like hated weddings, like did it because cute girl asked and there was money involved, but like
and you're in high school.
Wasn't it? Yeah, the high school. Didn't really want to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, grinded through high school. Then I went to Salt Lake. Are we dragging? What are we time wise?
We got 5 more minutes on the story.
So we went up to Salt Lake, went up to undergrad, started over, lost all connections, all the people I knew, right? So kind of had to start from the bottom, work my way up. I put like flyers on my door that said DJ Phayze. I signed up for KU Radio and did Phayze at 5:30, mixed every Wednesday. I would take at this point now, I did have a Newmark Mix Track Pro for a hot minute, which everyone had.
Yeah.
And then I had an American Audio VMS 4.1 tractor.
4-channel, right?
Yeah, the tractor. I was a big tractor guy for a second.
Interesting.
And I had that in this like super heavy road case, and I would ride the bus down to the Union, and I would DJ on Wednesdays at 5:30 for an hour.
That is like just reflecting back to my time as a student. Like that's so. I mean that's got to be a really cool time in your life.
Awesome.
Even though like Utah's radio station, like there's very few people that chime in, right?
Of course.
Right? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, but like that's still such a fun, really cool thing for you to do. And like, you're planning your day and you're bringing your cables, your headphones, and your mixer. So
yeah, I'm all about experiences.
You're taking me back a little bit.
I'm just big on experiences. Even if 10 people listened, how many people could say they got to spin in an actual radio station? Yeah. Like I got to learn how to work a radio board and do the thing. And so whether or not people listen, like it was still a dope experience.
What was the show called?
Phayze at 5:30.
Phayze at 5:30.
Yeah. I think someone had the 5 slot, so I had to do 5:30. You know how it is. So again, started grinding, did that, met Bangerang at Hang Time in Orem, just through like a random like, did like one gig there with him.
Do you know who facilitated that?
No. Literally, some guy reached out on Facebook.
Is his name Weston Gleave?
Perhaps. I don't know who it is. I haven't talked to whoever that was in 10 years. Yeah. But someone's like, come DJ, and I met Bangerang and DJ'd it.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. You've got connections there back in the day.
Oh my gosh. I had... Sorry, Jordan. I have to interject.
No, please. Yeah, come on.
This was probably the first 6 months of spinning, and someone reached out on Facebook. This Weston guy, didn't know him. He's like, hey, bro, you want to come DJ this college party? Like, I can't pay anything, but like, this could be a good exposure.
Oh, the classic line.
And like, here I am, 16, 17 years old, like, dude, playing for college, like, that sounds so sick. And I mean, granted, the first one was not great at all. The second one was dope, but like, I guarantee it's the same person.
Yeah, it probably was.
And like, we were probably crossing paths even though we didn't know it.
Yeah, that was fall of 2012. That's when I did that with just one time with Bangerang.
Wow.
And then he kind of told this story in his episode. But the biggest breakthrough, second big mentor or DJ that influenced my life was Marcus Wing. And so I heard about this paint fight thing. There was a Facebook contest, classic promoter strategy. Most likes gets the opening slot. Yeah. Bangerang said we tied. He absolutely destroyed me. But Marcus, being a good promoter, reached out and he's like, hey, if you flyer the dorms at the U, I'll let you share the spot with Bang. And I was like, done.
Knowing that you're a University of Utah student living in the dorms.
Exactly.
Smart.
I'm like, dude, I'll sell myself to like go to get the slot. So that was huge. Wow. I'd done like 400 people maybe before that. And that was like 1,500. So that was like a huge step up. 10-foot tall stage, giant sound system. So that gave me a ton of exposure, gave me the thrill of performing on a really large stage, which is unmatched, like by anything. And so just kind of grinded, did private stuff, went on the mission. Once again, repeat of lost all connections. People moved on, right? This is the third time now that like, when I came back, like, everyone's graduated, moved on. So I kind of had to build again. And this time when I came back to Salt Lake, I got connected through Lex to the DJs of Utah Facebook page. And that was a huge turning point. Jonathan Marriott was the first person I know who's like a huge gearhead. So we geeked out over that. But then attended meetings and met Paul Helms, Rob Foray, like, the titans of industry in the wedding DJ space up here.
Yeah.
And they kind of opened my eyes to what was possible. And so after doing like some gigs with them and shadowing them, I said, you know what? I don't want to work at Mountain America anymore. Like, I want to like DJ full time.
Mountain America.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was a teller. I was a teller for a hot minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So basically 2016 to 2017, it was like the most intense, like kind of episode of education and hustle that I've ever had. I like devoured any information on the internet about marketing, branding, emceeing, DJing, just like any content I could get. Went to Mobile Beat, watched all the DJ disc jockey news TV things on YouTube, and I just kind of like aggressively raised my prices. I was making connections, so like $500 weddings turned to 8, turned to 1,000, turned to 12, turned to 15, like in the space of a year. So like I just kind of like I was turning gigs away, so I was like, I might as well. Like, people appreciate what I was doing, and I felt like I was putting in the time. And so 2017, able to quit all my other jobs. It was like providing enough for the family, and I was able to do it on the weekends while I did school in the week, pre-med stuff, and the business just took off. And then that led to tons of connections. Wrote the books on lighting just because I was like a gearhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not going to brush past that real quick.
But yeah, let's stop there because that's kind of the DJs. That's really where the business took off. So
it's how do I want to enter this or go at it? For as long as I've known you, you've been a gearhead or just really like if there's a new piece of equipment, like you want to know everything about it, and you can because you have the capacity, and like you're going to go put the time and effort to learn how to use it appropriately. Yeah. Talk to me about like the inspiration behind writing the book, my DMX.
Yeah, Essential Guide to DMX for mobile DJs.
Thank you.
It's a long title.
Essential. There we go. Thank you.
Essential Guide. Yeah.
What was like the inspiration? I'm like, I know you're a big goal guy, and I think I've picked up on that like many years ago. Yeah. Aside from like our goal phone calls, like, did you map out a plan for writing this book?
No, bro.
What was the inspiration? Like, what was the process, if you will?
Super impulsive. How it happened. But leading up to it, it was just the obsession with gear. I was really one of the only people doing really intense lighting programming with DMX. Like, most mobile DJs buy a couple, turn them on auto, let it go, right? But I was really fascinated by the programming aspect. You go to a concert and see like the lighting designer behind the giant desk, like just playing it like an instrument, like doing awesome things with the lights. So I got really into it, and I have the like obsessive personality where I'll watch 100 videos and read 100 books, but like not every DJ is as into not every DJ is as into lighting as me. So I just felt like what I wanted to write, I just wanted to take the best parts and put them in one location and make it like a 70-page book that someone could read in a day. Instead of someone having to spend hours and hours like learning one little tip from 100 different videos, I was like, let me kind of just give someone a beginning to end. This is what DMX is. This is what lights you should buy. This is how you hook them together. This is how you can make a light show that looks half decent. It's not the end all be all. It's definitely 101. But for someone who's never done it, like I wanted them to do it. So actually the first book I wrote wasn't about DMX, which is lighting programming for those that like aren't DJs.
Yes.
That's digital multiplex, I think is what that stands for. But the first book I wrote was just lighting for mobile DJs, right? So I have two.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I am terrible.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Lighting for mobile DJs.
Yeah. So the Essential Guide to Building a Mobile DJ Light Show. So that one's less focused on like nitty gritty of programming lights and more just like, don't just put a single effect light on a pole, but like you can create aesthetically pleasing, like symmetrical lighting setups that are eye catching. So that was my first book I wrote. And then people asked like, okay, I want to know how to program DMX. And that was the second.
Really? That's kind of how it segued.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I think I'm always big about passive income and found out you can just publish on Kindle. There's literally no restrictions. You don't need to like submit a draft and like be approved. If you want to publish on Kindle publishing, you literally format your Word document and upload it, and Amazon will sell it.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. So it's a great passive income, and they print paperbacks. So if someone orders a paperback, they'll print it in a day and ship it to them. Like,
that is sick.
Yeah.
That is sick. Okay, how do I put this? Busy season's ending here soon.
Yeah.
About 2 months.
Yeah.
And one thing I love to do that I haven't been able to do is sit down and read. Like, one of my favorite things is like for an hour or 2 hours, not thinking about anything, no notifications, no interruptions,
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
down reading.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be doing too much more like intensive programming with private events, but I feel like I feel like at the very least, like I would definitely enjoy it and like getting inside your mind a little bit more. So,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna make my order.
I'll send you one, bro.
No,
Yeah, don't even stress it.
no, never. Anyways,
send you one.
anyways,
Yeah, man.
that those can be purchased with Kindle, Amazon.
Yeah, all on Amazon.
paperback
So
or
they
digital.
they can
Okay.
send you a
Excellent.
Kindle. Yeah, man.
Excellent. So I have like I want to spend some time talking about like the transition from school dances and also transition from like actually doing private events regularly to where
Yeah.
you're at now with your education.
Oh yeah.
Before we go there, do you want to talk or share any other highlights or milestones or mentors in your DJing career?
I think I've dropped all their names.
Okay.
The first one was Lex,
Okay.
DJ Lex, right? Marcus Wing gave me an opportunity. Then Paul Helms and Rob Foray, Jason Gibbs. I mean, there's a million people to thank. But it just took me to places I never thought I would have gone. Like I've been to all the resorts in Park City. I've been to all the like venues around the valley. If I hadn't have been open to doing weddings, I would have never, met the people I've met. Like I just got a Facebook notification. I did a wedding at Red Butte Garden and Jeff Foxworthy was the bride's uncle. And he was just like in the crowd. It was the randomest thing ever. The guitarist was like, was that Jeff Foxworthy? I was like, yeah, it is. Like
Double take.
Got a double take. I got a picture with him. He was a homie. I like went out to do my grand entrance. He's like, yeah, Jordan. So I was like, how random is that? Like,
That's
just
awesome.
so it's just taking me to places I never would have expected.
Grand entrance. I want to talk about emceeing real quick.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you put in time, effort, and like focus into like building that skill set.
Absolutely.
And you're an excellent MC.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Can you maybe paint a little bit more of a clear picture in terms of like how a successful, talented MC can like really take a wedding or any event for that matter, like to the next level? For someone who's maybe not a DJ, but in the event industry or like is just genuinely curious, no context.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I would attribute a lot of the development of my MC skills to a singular DVD called The 1% Solution by Randy Bartlett. Have you ever heard of that?
I know Randy Bartlett.
Yeah. So he released a DVD. It's like 20 years old. It's only like an hour and a half long. But he basically lays out the power of inflection in your voice and pauses and just changing the tone and how that impacts things. And that was the single biggest thing for me. Because I was never uncomfortable going out and saying like, give a big hand to John and Susan. But like he taught me how to take that and change it into something where you don't even have to ask for applause, but just the way you intonate your voice, you get results. And how to say more or how to say less, but with more impact. And that's a big thing with me. Like, as we've seen, I just drone on and on in these, like, I love to talk. And so sometimes I'm too wordy and he taught me how to kind of polish that. So that was a huge thing. And then just shadowing people that are great at it, Paul, Rob. But it absolutely, it can alter the whole tone of an event. You know what I mean? Like, the hardest thing at a wedding or any other private event is getting people to pay attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always, hey, we're going to do now. And you're like, and everyone still keeps talking. No one lowers their voice. All right, it's time to do the first dance. And everyone's like still like talking to each other on their phone, which like totally detracts from the whole point of the wedding, right? Like that's a super important moment. So just kind of little tricks that you can incorporate, lowering your music, changing the inflection of your voice. Like all of that stuff plays into success at an event.
God, dude, I love it.
Yeah. So 1% Solution, DJs, you need to watch that if you MC.
I gotta get a freaking Amazon cart going. You mentioned Rob. One tip that I snagged from Rob, just like watching his like Instagram story a couple years ago or something like that. He used this line, and it was something along the lines of like, "Can I borrow your ears for just a moment?"
Ooh, that's nice.
And so oftentimes when like it's a big venue, acoustics are not great, and we need to, keep moving or make a very important announcement.
Yeah,
it's like my friends, something along the lines of like, "Can I borrow your ears for just a moment?" And then it's a pause,
Mhm.
Maybe they didn't hear that first line, but like
Yeah.
they heard something over the microphone.
Yeah.
And then it's a pause.
Yeah.
And then it's the message, and then repeating the message again.
Yeah. And there's other things like non-vocal cues that are just as important. Like I found one of the most impactful things for me when I would transition from like a special dance at a wedding to the start of the party is if you can time the venue, flicking the lights off with the start of your music, bro, huge. And no one does that. It's like someone will start the dance party and then like 2 minutes later, like a staff will run over and flick up the lights. No, like if you go to like a concert or like a theater, everything is done like with purpose, right?
Yes.
The first note strike of the music, boom, lights go down. So like stuff like that makes a big difference. So, hey, can you lend me your ears? Music fades to nothing. It's now silent. Everyone's like, what the heck just happened? You pause and then you go. So yeah, those little additions make a huge difference.
Yeah. But you generally don't notice them like as a guest.
Yeah. Consciously.
But dude, I was having a conversation with my friend just yesterday. I DJ'd his sister's wedding on Thursday.
Yeah.
And we were talking about AV stuff. He's a tech guy. And he's like, dude, sound, microphones, everything so smoothly, like 100% worth it. You did an excellent job. But he said something that really stuck out to me and struck me. It was like, you can tell if someone's doing an excellent job with the AV, that world, that sphere, if you don't notice anything go wrong.
Yeah.
If you do notice, a hum or drops or whatever, like that's generally when, obviously something's up, but like, if you don't notice anything, that like,
that's good.
Things are under wraps and like things are running how they should be running. Anyways, I'm digressing. We are already about 25 minutes in the podcast.
That's how it
Time
goes,
flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Jordan, I remember having this conversation with you. I think it was actually at your house. But it was me kind of like throwing out there. I'm like, dude, you're crushing it here in Utah. Like you're a leader in this industry.
Yeah.
You could easily have a professional career doing this. Help me understand like your thought process in, med school and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you explained it to me back then and it made a lot of sense. But maybe for the listeners and just kind of a refresher describing like your transition in terms of like you're crushing the DJ industry. Your business is going great. You've grown immensely to then transitioning into med school and the thought process behind that.
That's a good question. You're not the only one that's asked. I actually, a few months before I went to school, a videographer told me, he was like, you sure you want to like leave this behind? Because the wedding was like popping off.
Yeah.
And I'm someone when I set a goal, I stick to it pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like I've wanted a Corvette since I was like 12 and I'm going to have one in like 5 years. You mark my words.
Yes,
right?
You will.
So the med school thing was similar. Like I put my mind to it at the end of high school and, my mom's a nurse. She kind of like exposed me to that world. And there's a lot of aspects that I like. For me, medicine is something that I'll never get bored of because it's always challenging, always changing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I loved the DJ sphere and I loved it, but there's downsides to it too. Like, I missed out on so many things because every Friday and Saturday I was gone, like especially Saturday, like it's a whole day commitment when you're doing a wedding. Right. Mm-hmm. So, I knew that I would have a family, have a kid. And so missing every Friday, Saturday was not something I wanted long-term. Yeah. And it's, as the pandemic showed us, it's like DJing can take a hit real quick.
Yep.
So just I'm someone who's a little risk adverse. I like stability.
Yeah.
And so medicine was a combination of it's fascinating to me. It's mentally like intellectually stimulating. Mm-hmm. And it's just like a stable, good career. And I am going into family medicine. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to be able to shape my practice in a way that DJing, will never leave my life. I'll still be able to keep it a part of it. So I didn't say goodbye to it completely. It's just I had an amazing like decade, awesome experience.
Yeah.
It's taking more backseat now, but I'm not out of the DJ space. Like I still do mixes. I still write for a DJ retailer. Like I film reviews of DJ products. So
yes,
like
sir.
I'm not out of it. Just a little more back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. Just providing a little more context for the listeners. Yeah. I kind of want to jump back to what you're still doing, like to be involved in the DJing and music performing industry. If you want. So writing for this DJ magazine.
Yes.
YouTube product reviews.
Yeah.
share the listeners a little bit more about what that looks like for you.
Yeah. So I think I kind of got cred in the DJ industry when I wrote the lighting books.
Mm-hmm.
I got initially reached out to by Mobile Beat, the producer of the Mobile Beat magazine, right?
How stoked were you?
So stoked. Yeah, he kind of put out like a call for writers, and I was like, hey man, like I got a little writing experience. You know, I did writing in undergrad, and I enjoy it. And so, which was a big twist. I hated it in high school, but I loved it in undergrad. So learned how to write, thought I was decent at it. So he gave me a chance writing little like 500 word things for him every couple of weeks. And that just, once people saw my name in Mobile Beat, then I like could talk to people at conferences and say like, oh, like I write, and you know, it kind of allowed me to build connections that way.
Yeah.
And then, so just people know me as like a writer, you know, or at least have seen me, you know, I'm not like well known, but like people like have seen me.
If they're active in the community. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like I've pushed my books on like the DJ's Vault and DJ and TV. So like I've like, you know, I've gotten it out there. And so then Justin Schwartz is the guy that runs the DJ's Guru.
Yep.
He was with a different retailer for a long time, and then he set off to do his own thing, which he's crushing right now. And he'd seen my work. He saw my YouTube videos. He brought me on. He's like, do you want to write content for me? And I was like, bro, like it gives me a way to stay in the industry still. I love to write. I love the gear. It was like a perfect fit. So, and then the YouTube side of things, started filming videos at the tail end of 2019, right before I moved to Florida for med school. Just like, I was like, YouTube's cool. I don't mind talking in front of a camera. I've got all this DJ crap sitting around. I could review it. Like,
that's fun for you.
Yeah.
You know, you're continuing to establish and build your brand.
Yeah.
And also back to your point of passive income as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was great.
I
just like did a few, didn't do much with it. Pandemic hit. I was like online classes. I was sitting around and I was like, might as well just start reviewing more things. And YouTube's totally like a grind. If you put in the hours, like it'll like exponentially grow. It was like really, really slow. And then once you hit 1,000 subscribers, it's like, woo. So it just kind of took off.
Where people go to check you out on YouTube?
YouTube.com/Phayze Reviews.
Phayze
Reviews. Yeah. So
Where
I'm still
does
using
Phayze
the
come
old,
from,
that's
my
the
doc?
old DJ name, the OG DJ name.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that was an invention of someone at Grease Monkey in high school. I was like trying to come up with a DJ name when I was like 15.
For real?
Yeah. And so it's like, well, you should be Phayze, but you should spell it all cool. So Phayze. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Every time I get some on my Venmo, I have to like spell it out because I still use DJ Phayze. But yeah, so I kept that for the YouTube channel so I can kind of keep DJ Phayze in my life and own all the websites and the brand and stuff. And then now I DJ under DJ Jordan Nelson now just because it fit more with the wedding sphere.
Yep, the brand. Yep.
Yeah. So
dang, dude.
Yeah, man.
Okay. One thing we kind of jumped over, and prior to recording, like I try to like not have too much conversation prior to recording, just so we can keep it as natural and fun and lively as possible. Jordan, how did we meet?
Okay. Yeah, we both were puzzled for like 5 minutes trying to come up with a story, and then it came to me and Parker said save it. So we met at Lassonde. I don't know who called me, maybe Austin Birch or someone called me in to do a set at Lassonde in like the main like
was
area.
that the first day we met?
That was the first day we met.
That was that
was it. And it was Argus or like Austin Birch, right?
It was it was the grand opening event.
Yeah.
Like the housewarming party of the Lassonde Institute.
I don't know who invited me there.
It was myself.
You invited me. But how did you know
me?
Yeah.
Lassonde booked me. You were a student at the U.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we were talking over social media.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what it was. I have a video of you standing with Maddie behind the turntables.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's where we met. But I can't remember how I first connected. Facebook, I guess. And social media, probably.
Probably Facebook.
But that was the first time we met in person and worked together, and the rest is history.
Dang, bro.
Yeah, 2015, 16, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Kind of like a segue, if you will, but on the topic of just meeting, networking over Facebook and like your mentors, this is kind of more so for the listeners, but I think a common theme amongst a lot of these podcast episodes with DJs is like the power of the people in your circle, the people in your corner.
Yeah.
And like how, just introducing yourself and shaking your hand can open a lot of doors. And, Jordan, I've told you this, but like, I look up to you, and you've literally supported a lot of growth with my DJing and my company over the years, man. Like straight up, from like your character, your drive, to like even things to consider. Like a week ago when we were having our monthly phone call,
Yeah.
like just talking like nitty gritty details about like how to provide the best possible service. Like you've supported my growth from being that $500 DJ to that $1,000 DJ to like so on and so forth. So my point for bringing this up is to reiterate just like, you know, the power of like, you know, having people that support and uplift and challenge you in your circle, but also to thank you, Jordan. Because like straight up, man, for 5 years, I was stuck thinking like, dude, a DJ more than $700, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now I think back at that, I'm like, that is crazy. And I wish someone bashed my head against the wall.
I tried, bro. I tried.
Straight up.
Yeah. I think it was just born out of like excitement and passion for the fact that I was doing it. I was like, I want other people to do this too, man.
Yes.
Like, and people that you can tell when someone has the same kind of drive and motivation. I saw that in you, and I was like, there's no reason Parker, you know, couldn't be doing it. So just took a little pushing, took a little encouraging. You came to Mobile Beat, right? We shared a hotel room, right?
Yes, sir. I slept on the floor.
You slept on the floor.
Cooper, and myself, bro.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was a turning point for Cooper too, I think. Cooper was also kind of doing the same thing.
Dude,
and
have you had a conversation with him lately?
Oh, I went out and saw him 2 weeks ago.
He's crushing it.
Yeah, man.
Like he's. I mean, I'm sure he's got so much on his plate, but
That's a lot.
For someone like Cooper, he's got everything like lined up, organized.
Yeah.
And he's balancing it all. Balance. That's the last thing I want to end on. Okay. We got like
balance.
3 minutes, and then we gotta wrap it up.
Okay.
Jordan, obviously you are a high performer. You've been doing a lot, and you are doing a lot, and you're making it happen.
Yeah.
You set a goal, and you're following through. Whether that's a goal that's going to be a year out or 5 years out for that Corvette.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about the strategy or the mindset or like something that's helped you to be able to maintain consistency and balance in everything that you're doing as a DJ, an entrepreneur, a husband, a father.
Yeah.
Open up your mind a little bit for the people and for myself.
Of course. So I wasn't always like this. Like I definitely, I think I had like a type A personality, but I never really like went as hard as I did. I think regimens and the mission helped, but I came home and I just, it was all about time management. Like there was a lot of things I was interested in, but not enough time to do them. So I really had to get aggressive with how I managed my time. And then coming to med school, obviously that's like 60 hours a week of studying the first couple of years. So I had to, if I wanted to have a life outside and be with the fam, had to figure out a way. So I really endorse waking up early in the morning. I get up at 5 and that's like game changer for me. And like not everyone can thrive on low sleep. I'm lucky that I can get like 6 hours of sleep and thrive. But yeah. But I get up at 5, bro. 5 to 8 a.m. is like golden hour. No one's awake. No one's bugging. You know, texts are coming in. And so I just pick my worst thing I have to do that day and do it very first and just get that sucker out of the way. And then I compartmentalize. You know what I mean? I say 5 to 6 my flashcard time, 6 to 7 lecture time, 7 to 8 whatever YouTube editing time, and then I'll grind all day. And then I set a hard cutoff for myself, and then I get done at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., whatever. And I say, you know what? I'm not going to look at work. I'm going to this is my family time. This is my hobby time. So I schedule like aggressively, like every Tuesday's poker night, every Wednesday's movie night, every Saturday's Disney with the family. Like, so I just kind of like, I do this like aggressive scheduling. And then if I need to slip something in, like I'll just kind of tweak. So that's been huge. And I just, a lot of people will like, they'll be working for an hour and then they'll be like, oh, I got to go to this other thing. Like, like I can stretch a little longer. You can't do that. You have to be like cut off with yourself. You know what I mean? If you let yourself drag, you'll just overwork yourself and you'll be less productive in the long run. So
one of my biggest mentors, Brendan Burchard, he calls that bleed time.
Yeah.
Where let's say you're doing your emails and you have 1 hour for emails.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've got 6 more and I can finish in 15, 20 minutes. That 15, 20 minutes is bleed time and it's affecting and rolling over into the next thing.
Yeah.
And the next thing, the next thing. Jordan, I think I'd be pretty accurate in saying like your ability to effectively manage your time and execute is pretty unique. And to be as disciplined as you are and consistent as you are is pretty freaking unique. Do you have a tip or a suggestion or an idea that might support someone to have more consistency in time management?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate in either writing things down or using your phone a lot. I think
Which do you prefer?
I've bounced between both. I feel like more consistently I use the phone just because my phone can ding me when stuff needs to happen. The problem is I've got very untreated ADHD. Like I definitely should be on some medication, but I'm not. So I think that the phone is just nice because I can have it beep, vibrate, whatever, move on. And whereas if I write things down, I have to like remember to pull it out of my pocket at regular intervals.
Gotcha.
But I think that's big. So like the second I have an idea, a thought, a to-do, I immediately pull out Siri and say, remind me to call Parker in 35 minutes. And like, you know, I have to do that constantly.
Yeah.
And I schedule to the half hour to the hour. And like you said, you can't bleed. Because if you bleed 5 minutes, then the next thing is behind 5. If you bleed 5 in that too, then you're 10.
Yeah.
4 tasks in, you're super off. So that's a big thing. Either write or use your phone. Don't rely on your mind to like bring all your to-dos and your stuff to your memory. So
another one from Brandon Burchard. Sorry, I have to do this.
Do it.
This quote, and I love it, love it, love it. If you leave your growth to randomness, you will always live in the life of mediocrity.
Spicy.
Drops the microphone.
Yeah, put that on your wall.
That would be cool to end the podcast right after that. But Jordan, my friend, 2 things. 1, where can the people find you just on anything and everything that you want to share? And then 2, do you have anything else you want to share before we wrap up in the next minute?
Okay. So finding me, Instagram is my main platform as far as sharing life updates and video reviews and stuff like that. DJ Jordan Nelson on the Insta. YouTube is Phayze Reviews. We've already talked about that. So you can find my YouTube. I do like not just DJ stuff, anything tech, right? The tech unboxing world is like super oversaturated, but I do it because awesome products and it's good income. And then the books. We talked the books. Oh yeah, Mixcloud.com/DJ Jordan Nelson. I've been a little dry. It's been a busy year. But there's got to be like 30 something on there, from the past, and I'll get more up there.
30, that's dope.
Yeah, I got a lot of mixes up there. I mean, I had weekly at one point, but it just, life, how life is.
Respect.
And then the book we talked about, Essential Guide to Building a Mobile DJ Light Show.
Books.
Yeah, books. And then Essential Guide to DMX for Mobile DJs, both those on Amazon. Stuff to leave with. I mean, just a thanks to you, man. The praise that you've offered me is reciprocal. I'm grateful for, as I've gone on in life, I want to keep high achievers close to me, right? And not distance myself from others, but just make sure that the people that I talk to the most are the ones that are doing the most. And you've been one of those people. Like you said, we got monthly phone calls. We talk goals. We talk what we're doing. And I'm grateful for that. So
thank you.
You keep me honest on it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, the listeners, a couple months ago, I want to say like three or 4 months ago, Jordan hit me up and was like, I've been doing these kind of monthly like goal phone calls with friends. A select few, and you had extended the offer to do one with me, and I mean, I think we're 2-3 months in now.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what helped facilitate this conversation. You're here visiting Salt Lake from Florida. Jordan, thank you, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm very proud and grateful to call you my friend. To the listeners, I'm very grateful that you're here, and viewers, thank you for chiming in. This has been a really dope episode. We could go on for 4 hours.
A long time.
To finish part 1 and then go to part 2 for another 6 hours. But we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to stop rambling. Shouts out my boy Nick Nord. Shouts out everyone who's listening, chiming in. Shout out to everyone who shared it with their mom, their aunt, their uncle, their roommate, their brother, their sister. Thank you. We got DJ Jordan Nelson in the house. That's it. That's a wrap for Behind the Energy Podcast episode 53. We'll see you next week. That is a wrap. Thank you for listening and going behind the energy with me. If you loved it, thumbs up it. You can follow me on social media at Parker Andriese and check us all out at bringingtheenergy.com. As for now, we are signing off, and I'll catch you next week for another episode. Peace.